Hey, Dory Friend here with SEO Buffer. Here I'm going to do a short question and answer period. But you know what? The main question that we got and the one I think is going to do the most benefit is how do I use my buffer site for best results? So first off, I want you to know we're not wanting these sites to rank. So don't do any on-page optimization. We're not. We want them to be just normal, run-of-the-mill sites. You know, it's kind of like the idea of running with the zebras. If you want to look, run with the zebras, and not stick out, then look like a zebra. And that's what we want to do here. Most sites aren't optimized, SEO optimized, so don't go back and do them. We don't want these to rank. We just want them to be leverage sites. So that is a typical use of a buffer site. So next, I recommend only linking from these sites, one or two times to any individual site. So you can link out to multiple sites, but don't overdo it. Don't link 10, 20 times to your, one main site because it's just not going to count as much. And then it just gets looking really sneaky and SEO-y, and you just don't want to do that. So one or two times is quite enough. And I would recommend only linking to them using a brand or URL link to avoid any possibility of over-optimization. And I believe everybody out there is aware of Penguin and what's happened in the last year and a half, and that over-optimization killed a lot of sites. So that means when you link to your site using the same text over again, the same keyword like mortgage, 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 that kind of stuff, it will over-optimize your site. And, it might raise you up for a little bit, but it doesn't last very long. So what works on page? Well, first, again, link out to each main site only one or two times using a brand or URL link. Use Blogroll Butane to maximize your interlinking efforts, and I'm going to go through that at the end of this video, what Blogroll Butane actually is. And then link from different places on the blog. You don't always have to link from inside the post. Since you own these, you can link from all kinds of different places. The testimonials, the footer links, do different things with them. And you'll get more creative too once I go through the Blogroll Butane, and you can see how you can maximize your interlinking efforts. So what works off page then? Best thing to do is to build links to your buffer site. Now, because these sites are purchased at the expired domain auctions, most of them do come with links already pointing to them, but you're going to want to hit your buffer sites with links that have the anchor text you want to rank for. For example, this is called the buffer bounce strategy, and what this does, it's kind of bounces or passes through these links with anchor text. Say this is your buffer site here, and so you link from a tier 2 to your tier 1, which is your buffer site, with keywords that you want to rank for. So this goes through, or it bounces through the buffer site, and then when you link from the buffer site with a safe link, your brand or URL and the anchor text so you don't over-optimize to your money site, it's actually going through and you're actually going to get credit for the keywords that you're linking to the buffer site. And, I got this from Jeff Johnson a long time ago, and I got to give him credit for it. He always said, it's not what site B says about your money site, but it's really what site A or tier 2 sites say about your buffer site or your B site. So that's linking to your A site. So this type of anchor text pointing into your buffer site is really important, and it's going to give you credit for what you want to rank for. Now, of course, don't go and think that you're going to get one blog and put mortgage in here or auto insurance and you're going to go right up to the first page of Google. That's not going to happen. But I hope that you get the picture and you do the research and the work in your industry and marketplace so you know what it's going to take to rank for the keywords that you're targeting. So when people do this, my customers, I get unsolicited testimonials, and I get a lot of the wows. I get a lot of oh my God, this is really working. And, this is awesome, and I wish I was doing this before Penguin. I get a lot of that stuff. But there was one testimonial I wanted to talk about because he sent me exactly what he did to rank, and so this is a pretty good story to outline. And this was what I was mouthing off about a couple months ago, so he decided to test it, and so this is his story. He posted, so I'm just going to read it like he would. I posted one blog post on one of my blog sites provided by you, step 2. Then I did a text string from SEO Nitro with one anchor text I wanted to rank for, all pointing towards this post. So what that means is, SEO Nitro, of course, is a blog network, and you could do any blog networks, any type of linking campaign. You don't have to have SEO Nitro for this to work. What I want to explain is that he pretty much just went out and did a linking campaign and only used one anchor text for his site. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, of course, but he sent a lot of links using one keyword to his buffer site, not his main site, his buffer site. And then he did one thing that I didn't recommend doing, but he just did it. He submitted the blog page to a PR7 directory, but the blog is still a PR0. So then there had been nothing done off-site except the above. Link density is 100% brand. So he linked to his money site with one brand link. So with one site linking in to his buffer, in from his buffer site, which was still a PR0. And then he says, I checked my ranking stats and my home page is on the first page of Google already. What? In 1 week? LOL. That is crazy. And that's what happens. This technique is working really, really well. And like I said, don't expect to get a couple of blogs and shoot up for auto insurance overnight. But this is the type of stuff that we're doing. It's indirect linking is what we need to be doing. And that's what this is. The buffer site keeps your money site safe. It also passes link juice from everything else that is already pointed to it, and then anything that you do after that. So I told you I was going to talk about Blogroll Butane, and this is about interlinking. I had some questions about interlinking, so I said use the Blogroll Butane strategy. This beefs up your posts by linking to it from the site's Blogroll, using the title of the post or the keyword you would like to rank for. So we're going to go to this illustration here. And what this is you make a post on your blog, on your buffer site, whatever, and it usually scrolls off, but you take that title and you get, you find out which page that is on. And so what you're going to do is link to that page from the Blogroll. So you usually link to it using the title of the page. So, if the title is 10 ways to lose weight, then link to it 10 ways to lose weight. And then here your link is linking out to your money site, preferably with your brand or URL. So I suggest only URL, only brand links to your money sites. I have a ton of research that backs that up. Just hint around to it with an anchor text or a partial keyword anchor text. And I don't think you would even need to do that until you start really hammering it and getting those good percentages up with URL and brand links, which I want to bring over another cheat sheet that we've done. And this talks about your anchor text and all kinds of different things. But right here, I just want to look at, exact match, 0 to 15%. So, and for example, if I was wanting to rank for SEO tips, this would be the exact match term. And your URL is, your URL, your domain name, and you can have your domain name be, with a slash and, a lot longer. That's the kind of linking that's really, really natural. And your brand, if, we're linking to SEOBuffer.com, the brand would be SEO Buffer or SEO Buffer, 2 words, that stuff like that. And random, here's the examples for click here, visit, info, website, but those are really getting old. Those are typical. I would really look at your competitors' keywords, the ones that they're just using 1 or 2 times, and use those as your random keywords, because that is going to be very natural instead of this kind of stuff anymore anyway. It really is leading into the telltale sign of being SEO'd. And Google doesn't want sites that are SEO'd anymore, so we have to be a lot more careful. So in summary, what I went over in this short video was, 1, you don't need to optimize your buffer site. We want it to look like a zebra. We want to blend in with everybody else, so no optimization needed here. 2, what you really want to do is link to your buffer site with the keyword that you want to rank for. And, hammer it as much as you want. Do a linking campaign, get that juice passing through. So the idea is to really juice up this buffer site here. And then also do your interlinking in here, and also to maximize your linking effort. So with that, only one more thing. Remember, we only have 50 of these because I can't buy domains for every type of niche, so we have to limit it. So really, there's only spots for 50 people, and most of them are already gone. So with that, Dory Friend for SEO Buffer, over and out. Thanks. Bye.